What is your Tinder horror story?
A little backstory: a few years ago, I was dating this girl and her father really hated me. Which was a bit odd, as most parents love me, or at least lie about it real well. He was just a huge prick and I always called him on his shit. Anyways, her parents got divorced, we broke up a few months later, etc. etc. Fast forward to around a year later. Me and girl from Tinder were dating for a few months and things were starting to get serious. We're at the point where she wants me to meet her family. Mother, stepfather, little sister. Why not? I have no problems meeting them, let's do what I said. She told me how excited her stepdad was to meet me, as it turns out we both happen to be Kansas City Chiefs fans. Well, fuck me if it wasn't the same asshole father of my ex-girlfriend.
My buddy isn't the smartest man. He picked a girl up and drove to a motel. They were walking into the room and she says, "Oh shit, I forgot my purse in the car, do you mind if I go grab it?" He says, "Yeah, that's fine," and tosses her the keys. 5 minutes later, He walks outside wondering where she is and his car is gone. For clarification, yes, he got his car back. I think the police found it about a week later. I don't think she was ever caught though. If you're in Baltimore swiping, don't let her near your keys.
About 8 months ago, Tinder date. She suggests brunch at Max's Wine Dive on McKinney. We're in Dallas. I pick her up at the Arpeggio Apartments in Victory Park. She's not ready, so she buzzes me in. Her apartment is beautiful, lots of high-dollar stuff, no roommate. We go to Max's at 1 p.m. She drinks an entire bottle of champagne by herself. We leave, and in the car she says she wants to stop by a shop in West Village. I park in the parking garage and get out. I look for her and don't see her. I hear a noise, so I look around my car and she's squatting next to the wall peeing on the ground. We go into the shop. She takes a few dresses into the changing room and tells me to come over. I stand outside the changing room and she pulls me inside. She completely undresses, gets in the clothes, asks me what I think, undresses, gets in more clothes, etc. She takes about $1,500 worth of clothes to the counter and tells the cashier she really has to pee. Cashier says sorry. My date begs, so cashier relents and takes her into the back, but it's too late. The damage is done. She also buys a new pair of pants. On the way back to her apartment, she answers a call and starts talking in a foreign language that I can't place. Couldn't even guess the continent. She's very nervous and upset. She hangs up and tells me she has to go to her other apartment at the Cirque, also in Victory Park. She asks me to go in with her. We go into her apartment, which is also completely beautiful and belongs only to her. She has a badass telescope that I start playing with. In the mirror, I see her open a safe and put something in her purse. She tells me we need to leave and asks me to take her to my house. We go to my house and she instantly passes out. Stays passed out for about 6 hours. Wakes up, wants Dairy Queen. It's closed and she starts crying. I take her to Sonic. She gets a cheeseburger, a chili dog, cheese fries, and a sundae. We come home, she eats it and throws up. Passes out on my couch. I read and go to sleep. Next morning she asks if she can stay and watch football. I tell her I have plans and need to take her home. She says she can't go to either of her apartments. I tell her too bad, I have plans, and drop her off at Cirque. She texted asking when we could see each other again, but I never responded.
My first and only Tinder date, I started talking to a cute guy, we hit it off really well. We'll call him Greg. Greg lived in a town nearly an hour away, so we texted for about 2 weeks before we decided to meet due to schedules. During this time Greg consistently attempted to wow with his food knowledge. I work in the fine dining restaurant industry, often telling me about what meal he was cooking for him and his roommates each night. After several days of talking he then asks me to come to his house so he would be able to cook for me. I oblige, figuring what's the worst that could happen. I've talked to him several times and felt okay about the whole situation. The day comes and we meet somewhere neutral and I follow him to his house, all the while him explaining how excited he is to cook for me. We arrive at his place, everything is going really great, he's exactly as I pictured him and his personality fits me perfect. Dinner time rolls around and he tells me he needs to go downstairs to begin prep. I become eager and say I'd love to help. He insists I stay on the couch and relax. We continue to talk across rooms and I can't see what's going on in the kitchen. He puts something in the oven and says it will be ready in just a bit and that he made extra in case I was hungry. 15 minutes late, Greg leaps off the couch to a timer and runs to the kitchen. He brings sauces first, saying that they are the best part. He lays ketchup, ranch and barbecue sauce on the table. I begin to get confused, wondering what he made as he refused to tell me, announcing that he wanted to keep it a secret. Greg returns to the kitchen to retrieve the plates. He walks in and carries a turkey platter to the table. I gaze into what had to be no less than 3 bags of frozen fries he had displayed on a turkey platter for our dinner. He looks at me eagerly, awaiting my reaction for me to lose it. I begin uncontrollably laughing and his smile drops as I say, "This is great, thank you," assuming this was a gag meal and he had prepared dinner to follow. No, Greg invited me to dinner to cook me his specialty, frozen French fries. They were delicious fries. And the sauce was the best part.
My Tinder nightmare began on January 8, 2014, when I started texting with a beautiful woman who I knew was out of my league. I'm a 50-ish Caucasian guy, out of shape, overweight, but otherwise stable and normal. She was a 30-year-old black woman, college-educated, stunningly beautiful and very elegant and slender. Nonetheless, after a few days of texting, I invited her to join me for dinner at a very nice restaurant downtown. To my dismay, she actually accepted my invitation. I was waiting for her at the bar, and when she walked in, my jaw hit the floor. She was so beautiful I literally lost my breath for a moment. She was taller than me in her heels and was wearing a beautiful short dress with the most amazing legs I had ever seen. She greeted me with a bright smile and a gentle hug, and we were escorted to our table. We had a very good date, the conversation flowed, and she seemed to have a good time as well. We decided to continue the date and went to a couple of bars for drinks. Finally, she said it was time to go home, and, since she had taken Uber earlier, I offered to give her a ride home and she quickly agreed. All this time I thought that, even though the date was fun and comfortable, I assumed it would possibly lead to a friendship at best, considering the obvious differences. Well, when we got to her place, we talked for a few minutes more. I offered to walk her to her door, but she declined. She then got out and walked around to my door. She leaned through the window and planted a very brief but sensual kiss on my lips. My heart stopped. She then leaned back and smiled. I was able to stammer out an invitation to go out again, and she accepted without hesitation. I was on cloud 9. I knew that this remarkable woman would have a profound effect on my life. It seemed predestined. Fast forward a couple of weeks, she and I had been seeing each other nearly every day, and I was developing strong feelings already. But something was wrong. I had a weird nagging sense that she was hiding something. Although she was being very affectionate, something just felt off. Then finally it happened. We were out at a bar together. It was a good time, but she seemed distracted. As we were leaving, she turned to me and said, in a serious tone, "We need to talk." I thought, this is it, the differences between us are too much for her and I'm about to be friend-zoned. But nothing prepared me for what came next. She asked me to just listen and not say anything, and I agreed. She then started out by saying that she had developed strong feelings for me, but there was something that I needed to know about her that might make me want to change my mind about pursuing a relationship. My mind was spinning and so many scenarios raced through my head. Is she married? Is she a criminal? Then I remembered a few days earlier when we were making out and I touched her breast lightly and realized that she had breast implants because it was quite hard. So I thought, OMG, is she a transsexual? But, as it turns out, she wasn't, but that would have been better than what came next. She looked at me, and with a tear in her eye, she told me that she has stage 4 breast cancer. She was originally diagnosed 4 years earlier as stage 3 and had beaten it back into remission after having a double mastectomy along with radiation treatment and chemotherapy. Now it had returned as stage 4 and she was to start chemo again in 2 weeks. I was floored. She then stated that she will understand if I wanted to turn and run and she wouldn't think less of me for it. My response was to reiterate that I adored her. And I thought she was an amazing woman and if she wanted me to take this journey with her that I would be honored to do so. We kissed and just held each other for a while. Finally she said goodnight and went to her car to go home. I cried all the way home. We had a full amazing year together. I had to go to Japan for work and she met me there in between chemo treatments. She never cried and was always elegant. I learned what the true definition of grace meant. We lived a lifetime in 2014. She died 9 months ago, 15 months after we met. I am a much better man for having met her and shared in her struggle. I love you and miss you so much, Jenny.
Talked to a girl a few times. Set up a date. She calls me a couple hours before we're going to meet, saying she's busy doing something. Bullshit excuse, she cancels. At about 11 p.m. I get a text message that just says, "Can you come over?" or something similar. Being a mix of lonely and bored, I said what the hell, closed my self-sympathy pizza box and hopped in my car. Halfway through the drive, I get another text that says, "Can you get me some food?" Sure. She wants a 20-piece chicken McNugget with extra barbecue sauce. Very specific. Super weird but fine, munchies. Show up and she seems maybe drunk or something, so I give her the food and she insists I stay, and we watch TV. She's watching the movie Powder. If you haven't seen the movie, it's super not date-friendly. We make small talk, I have a beer. I'm not gonna push anything because obviously the girl's got something going on, so I'm ready to bow out. The movie ends. She stands up and very bluntly says, "I'm going to bed. I don't know if I'm going to fuck you or not, but you can stay if you want." She was cute and I was eager, so why not see what happens? I hop in bed while she's in the bathroom. She comes into her bedroom, climbs on top of me, her hands on either side of my head. She leans in. I think she's going to start kissing my neck, and then I hear her start snoring. Very loudly. I'm dumbfounded. I lie there for a moment thinking about what I should do. This is interrupted by her ripping the hugest fart. Good night.
Thank you for watching. If you like to watch more of these videos, please leave a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share to your friends and family. I'll see you in the next video.